Okay, one of the first things you want to do, you take out your pound cake, and this one I've sat in the freezer for a few hours so that it'll be really, really firm when we start to put the icing on it. So what I'm going to do is, just to even it up, I'm going to cut the end pieces off because you want it to be nice and even all the way around. And you can eat those. Those are delicious. So we're going to cut this other end piece off. And just take a little bit off at a time. You don't want to take off too much because you want it to be nice and even all around. And then just cut the rest of this off. And this end piece right here. And don't worry, my hands are clean, so no problems whatsoever. And I'm going to take this top piece off as well. Just going to slice right through it. And there we go. Okay, we've gotten all of that off. And just set all that aside. Oops, a little bit more here. Because in order for them to be nice and square, you need for it to be a nice, even, square piece of cake. And see, because this is partially frozen, or it's been sitting in the freezer for a while, it's really, really firm. But once you just have it setting out all pretty on a plate, it'll be just fine. Now, I'm going to cut this in half for a reason, because it's a little bit easier to cut down through the slices when you're not having to deal with that really long piece of cake. So I'm just going to take my knife, and about 1/4 of an inch, I'm going to go straight down. And it may not be perfect at this point, but it will be once you get it cut and iced. It'll be beautiful. So I'm going to cut one more time, straight on through. And once again, you're using a knife, so be careful. And we'll cut that through. Okay, so now we have 3 really nice size layers. And we're going to put icing in between, and it'll be really, really awesome. Actually, let me see. Yep, we'll go with those 3. Okay, and let's go ahead and set those aside. And we're just going to cut 3 more. And you want to cut nice and straight down. Set these layers aside. Move this out of my way. And I've got my icing that I've already mixed up. And I'm using strawberry flavored icing. And I'm just going to put that on nice and thick. Because then you're just going to squeeze it all together, so in the different layers. So you just want to coat that so they'll actually taste frosting. A little help here. Just going to spoon. Ah, that works better. Okay, so we're just going to spoon on our frosting from edge to edge. Ooh, okay, that looks delicious. Okay, we got a little bit much icing right there. We'll just set that aside. Wipe that off there. Actually, let me get all these pieces out of the way. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and put our other piece on top. And we need more strawberry icing. And we'll put that on there. And this is going to be delicious. So we're smooth on some more frosting. And okay. So we'll get that all nice and smooth. Can smooth it around the edges. It won't matter because you're going to dip it in the candy coated stuff in a minute. And we're just going to do 3 layers. Okay, so I've got my 3 layers together, but I don't want to cut it right now because the icing is still kind of soft, and what it'll do, it'll just move around when you start to cut it into little petit fours. So you want to like put this back in the freezer and let it firm up a little bit, and then you can keep working with it. So we're gonna put this in the freezer and then we'll come back to working with it to cut it up.